This is very important. Please pay attention to this. It is very, very important. Pay attention to this. In this technical drawing class, in today's technical drawing class, I'm going to show you different ways you can carry out this isometric drawing. I'm going to show you different ways you can carry out this isometric drawing. This is very, very important. And pay attention. If you are new to this channel, do well to subscribe, comment, and share with your friend. It's also important so that others can learn. Let them learn. Share with them. Okay? We'll be drawing the isometric projection as you can see on the screen. All right. So, first thing to do, now in this class, I'll be showing step by step to draw this, to carry out this drawing. Okay? First thing you need to do is to draw what we refer to as a reference line. It must be a construction line. Draw your reference line. Okay, you can use your ruler, but I'm using T-square in this case. All right, so this is our reference line. Then from this reference line, let's try to pick a point. Let's take the point to be this. In isometric class, we'll be using our set square that has a 30-degree side here. 30-degree side here. Okay, so let's draw out three lines. One, 30 degree to the right. The other one, 30 degree to the left. And the third one will be vertically upward. So let's draw out those three lines. Make them a construction line. They are construction line. Okay. Okay. So let's draw the vertical line. All right. So from this line, you will see that a measurement was given here to be 45 millimeters. So let's measure the 45 millimeters. Okay. So this is the 45 millimeters. That is from here to here. You can see that. I will make the part we need very, very bold. So you can see that this is the 45 millimeters. Then you will see that at this point, there's a straight line that went upward. And this we need to measure a certain distance here, which is 20 millimeters, and draw another straight line upward here. Measure what? 20 millimeters as well. You can see the dimension around here. So let's try to do that. Let's make it a construction line. So from that line, let's measure the 20 millimeters we need. Let's measure it out. So from here to here is 20 millimeters. And here, let's measure the 20 millimeters as well. So you see that there's a line that connects them together here. So let's try to do that. All right. All right. Then you will see that from this line, there is a certain distance. But this is how we're going to do it. This is how we're going to do it. You see that from this line, we have a small line that went upward like this to form another shape inward like this. We are going to draw that. Okay. So please, let's try to measure the total distance first from here to the end here. You see that there's a total distance from here to somewhere around here to be 15. And there's another total distance from here to somewhere around here to be 50. Okay. That is 15 plus 50. That is what? 65. And you now see another distance from somewhere from here to somewhere around here to be 10. And the total give us what? That is 15 plus 50, that is 65, plus 10, that is 75. So let's try to measure out 75 millimeters. So this is 75 millimeters. You can see the end here. This is 75 millimeters here. Now, from this point, I told you that a certain distance was given to be 15 millimeters. So let's measure out the 15 millimeters. So this is the 15 millimeters. From here to here is the 15 millimeters. This point, please take note of this point. And from the back here, a distance from somewhere around here inward is given to be 10 millimeters. So if from here to here is 5, then from here to here is also 5, which is from here to here will be what? 10. So let's identify it here. 10 millimeters there. Okay. So from here to here is 10, and from here to here is what? 15. So from those 3 points, we are going to draw straight line upward. I will draw a straight line here, but it will be actually small. I will draw another straight line here. It will be also what? Small. I will connect them together. And here I will draw a vertical line upward. So let's do that. So from this point, let's try to draw a line inward. And from this point, let's draw another line inward. And from here, let's draw a straight line vertically upward. Okay, let this one be long. All right, so you see that at this point is a certain distance from here to here, and another certain distance from here to here, connected by a line, connected together by a line. So the distance is not given, but let's take it to be 5 millimeters since the distance is not given. So let's take it to be 5 millimeters since the measurement is not given. Okay, so take it to be 5 millimeters. That is from here to here. You see that? And also take this one to be 5 millimeters. So let's connect them together. Then we can make from here to here board and from here to here board. Okay. Since we have already measured out the parts we needed. Since we have already measured out the parts we need, so let's make sure that the remaining ones are board. So this is a construction line. You can decide to erase it little, but it's a construction line. Okay. All right. So this is a construction line. You can erase this. Okay, to make it neat. All right. Then you will see that from this point, a certain distance was given to be 45 millimeters. So let's measure out 45 millimeters. This is 45 millimeters here. I hope you can see that. Then you will see that from this point, okay, let's try to do it like this. From these 2 points, 2 lines went out, one like this and the other one like this. So let's try to draw out those 2 lines then before we continue with the rest. Okay, so let's try to draw out those 2 lines. Let's make it our construction line. Let's make it a construction line first. Let's make it construction line. Okay, now you will see that the distance from here to somewhere around here is 65. Why is it 65? We were told that from here to here is 15, and from here to here is what? Is 50. Then you will see that, and from here to here is also what? 10. Then you see that if you measure the thickness from here to here, that is, if you measure out 10 here, if you measure 10 out here, you are left it from here to here, and that is 65. that is from here to here 15, and from here to here 50, which is 65. We have already removed this 10. So we measure 65 here, draw a straight line upward to connect it with this line. And at the same time, we also measure 65 here, draw a certain line upward to connect it. And if you don't want to do it in that case, there's another way you could also do that. So I can decide to come like this and measure 10, draw a line downward. So let's try to do that. So from that point, I will need to measure out 10 millimeters. So this is 10 millimeters here. So this is 10 millimeters here. So from that point of 10 millimeters, this point, so two line, I can do, as I've said, I can do it in different ways. I can decide to come down like this with a vertical line downward and trace this one to join it. They will meet at a point which is the accurate and also perfect. So I can decide to draw, and I can decide to measure 65 here, draw a line upward, which will definitely touch this point. So anyone that you choose to do, both of them works. Okay, so let's try to draw a line downward. In this case, let's make it a construction line. So let's trace this one to join to meet this line. Okay, so let's trace it. You can just try to extend it. So I can make it bold. Let me make it bold. Okay, let me erase this small one here. And at the same time, I can make this one bold. Okay, and if you want to confirm that, you can also confirm that. You can see that it's perfectly 65. You know, I told you earlier that you can decide to measure from here to here 65 and draw a line upward, then measure 10 here to connect them together here. And I told you that you can also come down like this, just as the way I did here. You can see that it's perfectly 65. You can see from here to here is 60 and this is 65 perfectly. Okay, so the same thing happens in this side. I can measure 65, draw a line upward and connect it with these points. Or you know, from this same point, you can also see that there's another line that went inward like this. I can also do it in that way. So I'm showing you different ways you can carry out your drawings. Not just in one way. You can carry out your drawing in different ways. And from this same point too, there's a line that went inward like this. Although I know that there's a small shape here around here, but we are going to form it out. Let's draw the line first with a construction line. So let's do that. All right. Let me make it show little so that it will not be too tiny. Okay, so it's actually a construction line. Then you will see that the distance from here to the end here is the same thing as distance from here to here, which is same thing as distance from here to here, which is what? 45. So let's measure out 45 millimeters. This is 45 millimeters. Okay, so you will see that from that point, a certain line came inward like this, to touch this line. So let's do that. So if you want to confirm that from here to here will also be 65, just as from here to here. Okay, so we need to make this place from here to here bold, and from here to here we need to make it bold. Okay, so let's do that. So let's make this part bold. All right, then you will see that from here to the end here totally, from here to this end is also 45. So let's measure out 45 millimeters. That is 45 millimeters. But I need to show you something. Okay, that is 45 millimeters. Then let me join them together first. Let me join them together. Okay. All right. I need to show you something here. Before we continue with the rest, let's draw out this part. Then you will see that from here, a certain line went inward like this. And also, you will see that two lines are being drawn in a diagonal. Two diagonal lines came out like this. So how are we going to get it? First of all, we need to identify the midpoint of this line. If from here to here is 45, the midpoint will be 22.5. So from that midpoint, this is 20, this is 21, 22, this is 22.5. Now from this midpoint, that diagonal line, we're told that it has a thickness of 9 millimeters. You can see the dimension somewhere around here below. So it has a thickness of 9 millimeters. So how are we going to do it? Now, this is how we're going to do it. From this point, I will form out the two lines. I will form out the 9 millimeters here, but this will be the midpoint. So how am I going to form it out? 9 millimeters, if I divide it by 2, that is what? 4.5, 4.5. So here will be, the left side will be 4.5, right side will be 4.5 to identify it. Okay. So this is 4.5 from here to here. So from here to here is 4.5, and from here to here is another 4.5. So if you check properly, you will see that everything from here to here is 9. Everything from here to here is what? 9 millimeters. So this is it. This is it. These are the 2 points. So how am I going to do it? I believe you'll be able to see your own point at your side. So how we can do it is that you have many ways of doing this as well. I can decide to draw a line downward like this, draw another line inward like this. Okay? So both of them will meet at a point. Both of them will meet at a point, and from that point I will draw a line outward like this. So you can decide to do it in that way. There are many ways to do that. So let's try to draw a line downward. And from this point, let's try to draw another line. From this point, another line inward like this. And I hope you can see that. So from where they meet here now, you see that a certain line came out below here, given a measurement of what? 50 millimeters. So from that point, I will need from this midpoint now, I'll draw the line outward. So from that midpoint, I will draw the line what? Outward. So we're told that the measurement is what? The measurement is 50 millimeters. We're given the measurement to be 50 millimeters. So you can also draw this one. Let's make it bold. And also this, can make it bold. Then you see that there's a line that connects them together here. So let's do that. Okay, and I hope you can see that. Then you will also see that from this same point, there's another line that also came inward like this. Okay, so I'm going to do it is that from this same point, I will draw a line outward like this. You know, we already know the end from here to here to be 9, from here to here to be 9. So I want to draw out the line. So I will need to go inward like this by 9 to connect them together. Okay. So let's draw another line inward like this. So from this line, it has a total length of what? 9 millimeters. So let's try to pick out, let's try to measure out 9 millimeters. Okay. So this is the 9 millimeters here. So let's connect it with this point. Connected that. Let's connect that with this point. Okay. Don't mind my pencil. It's just too bold. I just like it the way this. All right. You can see that. Okay. Okay. Now we are almost done. You can see that. So we're almost done. Now you will see that from here, a certain distance is given. From here to here, I will measure out 10. And from here to here, I will measure out what? From here to somewhere around there, measure out 10. Then I will draw a line out here, draw another line out here. Okay, so let's measure out the 10. Let's measure out. Let's measure out 10 first. From here to here is 10 millimeters. Please take note of that point. Take note of that point. And also from here, let's also measure out. From here to here is also 10 millimeters. So this is 10 millimeters. This is also 10 millimeters. So the remaining one will be 25 millimeters. So from that 2 points, I will draw out two lines out. And then from that lines, I will measure out. I will need to measure out. So let's draw out the two lines. And also here, let's draw out the two lines. So from that line, I will measure out 5 millimeters, 5 millimeters, because we are given that the dimension is given around here. Tell you that the dimension from here to somewhere around here is 5 millimeters. Is 5 millimeters. So let's measure out the 5 millimeters. This is the 5 millimeters. And also from here is also 5 millimeters. So we can then join them together with a line. And also this part, you can make it what? You can then make the remaining one from here to here. You can make it bold. And also make this one what? Bold. And see? I'm sorry, I've already dimensioned before I realized some. I've already completed the video and dimensioned it before I realized this part, that there's a line that went inward like this and there's another line that came inward like this. I've not yet drawn those two lines. So quickly in this video, we are going to draw those two lines. Please, let's just try to do it. Okay, so from here to here, you see a line inward like this. You see a line inward here, okay? And from this same point, from this same line, you see a line downward like this, okay? So from here, you see a line like this, okay? All right. Okay, so do well to subscribe to this channel. I've already dimensioned it, sorry, earlier. I've already dimensioned it before I realized those 2 points. Okay, so do well to subscribe and share with your friends. This is also important. And as I've told you, comment, drop any questions that you're really facing difficult. Please let me know in the comments. Okay.